Here I am again, Silvia Siret from Think Well, Be Well, a little community, well, a growing community of well-being practitioners and facilitators. Today I'm going to speak to Gaz, so here goes. I've arrived at Gary Rooke's house, alias Gaz. Yeah. Okay, so this is where you live?
This is my home.
Yeah, okay, great. And he's just invited me for a cup of tea, so I'll have that first.
Yeah. I grow organic food and I meditate and I love it and I'm so happy, and I grow aubergines with little noses. Oh, cool.
Look at this beauty.
Yeah, never grown anything in my life before, but we've had a bumper.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had a real bumper. We've got some beetroot there as well, celery, courgettes, leeks, tomatoes, peppers, chilies, carrots, fennel. Not the orange, that was my lunch. I just put
Okay.
that no, I'm not that
Got
good.
that from the shop.
Not that good.
Beautiful.
But yeah, no, it's all there, and
great.
I'm living practically off the food I grow, with just a few little bits that I buy from the shop. But yeah, everything that I eat is basically grown just 100 meters up the way.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'm really lucky, really fortunate. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so let's go and have a look at this. It sounds all great and looks all great. It's a piece of land, Gaz, that you and your friend are renting.
Correct.
This is the fence, yeah, this is the border.
This is Mariette. This is our neighbour Mariette. She keeps chickens and she does she grows vegetables as well.
Yeah, I saw the chickens on my way here. I thought that was part of your land, but it's not.
No,
okay,
this
let
is
me.
ours. So the boundary runs up here, goes all the way down to the corner. You might
Yeah.
see there's like a mulberry bush down there, I think, and then back down into the other corner and along the tree line. So it's just under 2 acres.
Okay,
just
yeah.
under 2 acres.
Yeah.
My friend Bill's been here about 5 years, 6 years. I've recently, in the last sort of 18 months since the start of the pandemic, really decided to quit my job working on super yachts as a maritime security guard, making sure that super yachts got through the high risk areas of the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Really good job, travelled the world, earned some good money, met some really cool people. But when the pandemic started, I realised that there was potentially going to be issues around free travel,
Yeah.
and food shortages and all of the other stuff that was sort of like, I could sort of sense that may have come from a potential collapse of some sort.
Yeah.
So I decided to give Bill a call and asked him if he wanted to go ahead with this project, which is a local project to grow food and to serve the community, backed by Sikh values of love, which is educate people, heal people and feed them. So that's why we're here.
So wow.
So would you like me to give you a tour and you film the whole thing, a quick
Yeah,
quick tour?
definitely, yeah.
So just very sort of briefly, we've got a worm farm here. Worms are a great way that they basically process compost materials such as leaves, grass cuttings, coffee grounds, food waste and stuff like that, and their pee gives us organic fertilizer that we can feed the plants, and then their poo gives us worm castings which we add to the compost, and it enriches the soil for all of our plants.
Wow. Now I want to see the worms.
Yeah, no problem. So we recently fed them yesterday. They like paper and greens and stuff like that. Yeah, no, you know, they sort of thrive in there. These are compost worms. They're not your normal.
Yeah.
They're not your normal. You see them in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're just crawling around and eating everything and reproducing and
fantastic.
loving life, basically.
In an old bathtub.
Yeah, providing us you can have a bathroom with the worms if you want.
Nice.
That's free of
Not
charge.
sure
We don't
about that
charge for
one.
that. Yeah, so we're following, I don't know if you know much about permaculture.
I've heard about permaculture. I don't know what it is, but I
Okay.
know it's permanent. It's got to do with permanence.
Yeah, permanent agriculture.
Yes.
So basically it's guided by 3 ethics: earth care, people care, fair share.
Yeah.
And then systems that are implemented into your space have to run through 12 permaculture principles which mimic the intelligence of nature, so that we can design systems that are fully sustainable and minimize the actual manual labor that humans have to put in to maximize the biggest yield. And one of their principles is create no waste. So if you see, like, compost, for example, is a great example of creating no waste. So you'll harvest the plant, you'll cook your meal. The waste from your plate or the food trimmings will go into the compost. That will rot down. It will then turn into fertilized matter that will go out onto the beds, provide nutrients for the soil organisms, which will in turn turn that into humus, which is basically fertilized soil that the plant roots meet the mycelium network, the fungal network, and the exchange, the symbiotic relationship, the exchange of nutrients, and water pass through there, and therefore that is the closed loop system. We're not paying for anyone to take it away. There's no additional costs involved in processing our waste. It's being put back into the system, and that's what one of the principles of permaculture is: create no waste. So if there's 12 principles. I haven't done my course yet. I'm actually going away on Thursday, which I'm really excited about, tomorrow, and I'm embarking on my journey as a permaculture designer. So I've learned bits from friends and what I've researched on the internet and etc. And we've built this project up to this point. But all I know is one of the principles is also being able to maximise the usage of each system. So take for example our greenhouse. We've got a space to grow heat-loving plants, extend the growing season, but also it's a space where we can do the seeding and the nursery work, and also we're collecting the rainwater. So it's one system, but it's actually got sort of 3 or 4 different functions. And then what we try and do is with the functions, we try and link it to other systems and their functions, in a sense. So we're creating mini symbiotic relationships with each system that all work together, like the mycelium network that's underneath our feet. They're all working together, connecting up life basically underneath our feet, and that's what we're trying to do above the ground. But that's working in an alignment with nature and benefiting humans as well.
Impressive, very impressive. So here you grow the food that then you want to feed to the people who come here. And can you finish that sentence?
Sure. So a big part of our relationship is and also our guiding values is the Sikhi. I'm not going to call it a philosophy. It's not a religion, is it? Sikhism.
Yeah.
We call it an ism, can't we?
Yeah, that's the Western way of putting it.
Can you speak up a little? I'm sure it will be difficult for people to hear you.
In the Western perception, it's known as Sikhism, but in its original form, it can't be translated as a religion, because the Eastern philosophy isn't about religion, it's about a way of life, and there's a slight difference. And in that philosophy, what we believe in is, firstly, as an individual, to live a dharmic life, so to be in line with the truth, and to share that truth and the hard work of physical labour with others.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
So to be an asset to society and not a burden to it.
Yes. Yeah,
so
that's very beautiful.
So food is a really big thing for Sikhs, and we have this concept of langar, which means sharing food with the local community. So bringing people together through food, because that's really the common denominator of humanity.
Yeah, thank you. That's beautiful.
And one of their mottos is serve and protect.
Yeah.
So their values are of service and then protection, and it's akin to a rose, beautiful rose with thorns. So that love needs and demands respect.
Yeah. So
the thorns are there to protect it, and this is what these guys are. They're warriors as well as compassionate, loving, conscious men.
Beautiful.
So our plan is in a nutshell, is to feed, educate, and heal people for free. That's what we want to do.
Wow.
Yeah, because
fantastic.
we believe that that everyone should have an opportunity to have access to these, and
That goes exactly with our premise for Think Well, Be Well. This is what we want to achieve, that everyone has access to well-being in their own specific ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
These principles should be our birthright.
It is,
And
yes.
There shouldn't be a middleman
Yeah.
that we have to go through, a government agency or anything like that. It should be what's available to us locally.
Yes, yeah.
and a given.
But that's why we're here, and this challenging time has allowed us to see where we want to align ourselves. Where does our story take us?
Yeah.
We believe in taking action,
Yeah.
conscious action, for service, in service of others and the planet, and ultimately ourselves. And therefore we are writing the script of the story, and our reality will reflect that vision.
Great, beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you can. It's a bit okay, so this is another system that we've implemented. We've got a 6-bay composting shed, and it basically works by we fill up a bay of various materials: grass cuttings, leaves, paper, wood chip, waste from the garden, food peelings, etc., etc. And we layer it in greens and browns, which means it's green, which is nitrogen, and brown, which is carbon. And what that does is it allows like an even breakdown, so that it doesn't smell or it doesn't become too stodgy. And over a period of say 6 to 12 months, it turns into what's called compost. It's gardener's black gold. Now this is sort of, it's not quite finished, but this was horse manure, this was coffee grounds, wood chips, paper, grass cuttings, and now it's turned nearly to soil, and it's that contains all the nutrients that the soil organisms are gonna love. Now we're employing a method called no dig. Now it's not pioneered by Charles Dowding, but Charles Dowding's one of the leaders in the UK for implementing this method. And a year and 4 months ago, I came to Oxford and actually sat down and done his online gardening course. I went from not knowing anything about gardening.
Dowden is the name.
Charles Dowding, yeah.
Dowding.
Dowding, yeah.
Okay.
Dowding. He's quite popular, and if anyone's into gardening, they're definitely going to know him. And it would we would only probably need to put Charles in the search bar and it would come up with his name. He's that well known. So we're following them methods where we don't rotivate or till the soil. It stays there, and that's creating a nice habitat for the organisms. And what we do is we lay compost on top and plant directly into the compost. We're sort of mimicking, again, permaculture, nature. We're mimicking the forest floor with the fallen leaves that rot down. So, and that's what we're doing, and that's why it's important that we make our own compost to have a sustainable supply. That once the season's finished in say like mid-August, autumn, we can then clear out the beds and put in about 2 inches of compost on top of the beds, and then that will be the feed for the whole of next year. So there is an expense to get it going, because you need to fill up 6 inches of your bed, and that has a cost to it. But once you're up and running and implemented, you should be able to top off your beds each year with the waste that you produce yourself. So that's what we're doing, and we're at our first cycle of that now, is with that. So yeah, we've got 6 beds. We fill up one. Once that's full up, we let it rot down for about 4 months, and then we will then lift the cover off and we will turn it into the next bed, give it a good soaking, make sure it's nice and wet, cover it over, and another 6 months after that we should have good compost ready to go. So that's what we've got. We've got 6 bays there, following with the permaculture principles of maximising the yield. We've attached put a slanted roof on the structure, put some gutter in and sent it to a tank, so we've got 1,000 litres of harvested rainwater here.
Wow.
And also I'll put a little overhang on the roof which protects our wood storage.
Yeah.
Keeps the logs nice and dry because the wind and rain prevails from the west. So, so that provides habitat for the wood. So we've maximised, even though it's one system, we've got 3 usage, well 4 usage. We're using it as a storage facility at the moment, and that's the compost.
Amazing.
So we'll stand next to our.
So we're now going into the, what is it called?
This is our greenhouse. It's a polycarbonate greenhouse.
Little jungle.
Yeah, we're growing aubergines, tomatoes, celery, peppers, chilies, radish. It's all going on in there. It's all going on.
Wow,
And we've got a seeding and potting table as well.
Beautiful. Did you build this as well?
Yeah. We've got a neighbour that's a builder. He's helped us out with the build of this the greenhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. So coming on to my last question, how can people get involved? How can they benefit from being involved with this project?
So we really want to be as inclusive as possible. Primarily local people, but also including people from afar as well.
Local means Wootton community or wider?
Oxfordshire, really.
Oxfordshire community, yeah.
And how we'd like them to benefit from this place is by coming, experiencing, helping out, learning. So learning the permaculture principles.
How to grow.
Yeah. How they can then implement these skills back home if they want to.
Yeah.
Education as well. So the qualities that Gary and myself have, we would share with them. And really being able to look at this system that we've built here and being able to be empowered from it and take it back to their local neighbourhood.
Yeah,
and
into their own gardens, I suppose, even.
Yeah, and if this happens to be their local neighbourhood, then they can really join the team basically and help to expand it.
Yeah, beautiful. Are you going to sell anything?
Yeah, I mean, the plan is to obviously make sure that we've got enough food that we can offer the lunga to the community, and then the excess will be distributed amongst our volunteers that want to come and volunteer their time to help maintain and develop our site, and then the excess supply will be sold to generate an income to be put back into the system.
And that will be done in a little shop in Wootton.
Yeah, in a little shop
Wootton
in
village.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But also, going back to the point of how we can help people, is wanted to sort of create a community of friends, really, people that share similar values and are able to come and spend some time away from technology or potentially their sort of enclosed space of their homes, and come and connect with nature and learn, I believe, one of the most vitalist skills a human can learn, which is being able to grow their own vegetables. And I believe the combination of having friends of a similar nature, spending time in nature, also eating and consuming the organic food that they produce, I believe that's healing enough.
Yeah.
And we live in a world where people are, depressed and have anxiety issues and are searching healing modalities and medications to try and help them. But I really believe the healing is within what we are able to offer here. Friendship, nature, organic food.
Beautiful.
And laughter.
Thank you very much for engaging in this little interview, and I'm sure everyone will be loving to hear this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this little interview. I certainly did, and I'm going away with a bag of goodies. Look at that. Extra for me. So I feel richly rewarded for this, and I know that I will most certainly ask to hold my workshops here, and I'm sure demand will be huge for a yurt in the region. Fantastic. Very grateful, and look forward to hearing more of these guys.